Welcome back to the channel. I am a content creator. I am a content writer, especially. I have done landing pages and, the general text for web pages for many years. And I've noticed a very clear and steady decline in this market. It is actually quite sad to see how everything is changing very rapidly, and it is changing in a pace where people living and working in this industry, we are not keeping up. We are losing jobs very fast. Now, these things happen all throughout history, of course. There are a lot less people living in making ceramics or, being smiths than they were in the Middle Ages and so on. Things change. It's natural. But the thing is, this rapid change is, as far as I know, unprecedented. It has never, ever transpired with the speed of just a few years, where complete industries are getting obliterated, basically. The common response for this is, well, you have to adapt. You have to be the ones who use AI instead of declining and, yeah, but that's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. It's a number thing, really. If you have 10 people working with something and they come up with an invention that makes it so that the same thing can be created with one man and an AI, then it's one man who gets the job and 9 people are still unemployed. Sure, we can attempt to compete about the same thing, but there's going to be a whole bunch of factors going into this, where this doesn't really matter in the long run. You are seeing actually a big competition between people using AIs happening also. It's not just people not using AIs. And I've done a lot of my work lately with AI, because, to be fair, it saves time and the results are on par with the things I do by hand. Because, truth be told, it's not very complicated to do these type of standard pages for the web. It is a well-documented formula with so many cases out there that the AIs have already, crawled and stored in their massive database of knowledge. So it's, the craftsmanship and the magic is not really there, to be fair. There's also this argument that, but if you're good enough, people will still survive. The good ones will survive. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. Because the simple thing is, people are not prepared to pay for that extra little personal touch that the master of copywriting does. It doesn't work like that. That is why we are seeing huge, big businesses crashing within the marketing and copywriting businesses today. Because in the end, it is how you manage your finances, how well established your network is of contacts and clients and so on. That is what matters, not really your skill. I mean, if it was just a skill issue, then it would be only the smaller businesses with, you know, perhaps not the best trained copywriters or most famous ones, but it's not. You can just visit pages like LinkedIn and observe how there's plenty of very experienced, very skilled copywriters out there that are struggling hard. Because you can choose a free option or a free instrument, you are going to choose that. You're not going to pay for something you can get for free. In the end, it doesn't work like that, no matter how good the paid choice is. Worst thing is, the AIs are in general just getting better and better, and humans have, well, our development in this field is a lot slower. One might even argue that marketing is maybe not as good as it was once. If you speak with older people in this field, most of them are a lot more skilled in just basic language knowledge, just basic skills in phrasing and marketing and so on. And yeah, there's not much innovation going on at all within this field. It is probably a dying field, even if you take out the equation of AI from it. I think it is, actually. I've been saying for many years that why are commercials so bad these days? They are just odd, strange, and in general just random things. If you look at advertising here in Sweden in the 90s, television ads, they used a lot of humor, they used a lot of weird things, jokes. Sometimes these things were not maybe very obviously connected to the product, but people remember them. People can still quote these ads. And I think this is also a big part of it. I think that advertisers, people in this industry in general, aren't as skilled as they used to be, because ideals have shifted in a worse direction. And at the same time as this has happened, we have the AI entering the stage, and it is basically just this. It's not very difficult for an AI to analyze how a modern advertisement look like. You can just give a prompt to any of the large language models and ask it to, hey, I want you to make, in a style of Apple or so on, a slogan, and then blah blah blah, your product, and it will create a interesting result that is not far from the Apple original. You will recognize the pattern because it is simply not that strange. It's not that unique. There's nothing magical going on there. But it is plagiarizing an old recipe for everything. There's nothing new going on. They're not being innovative at all. Apple these days either. Very few companies are. I've seen some interesting ads where they implement things like memes, for example. That is interesting because memes are a very interesting way of creating an idea that sticks into people's mind, an easily recognized image that spreads instantly, but it's getting a bit crowded there as well. I see tons of ads that are, they take a classical meme and they replace it with their own product. I've done so for the laughs and giggles of it, but yeah, I think that market is getting saturated as well, and it will only appeal to people who have seen the meme. So you will still leave out a lot of people. Then there are other ways, of course. People use TikTok, they use Instagram and so on, and they are adamant that these things are the future, and maybe they are. But the future of that is like 20 years into the future, because there's so many people who don't use TikTok or absorb things from that platform still. I mean, I'm 50 now. I will probably stick around for another 20 years or so, I don't know. And I'm not convinced at all that this means that all older forms of communications are going away just because I'm going away. So there's that as well, the future of communication, where it will happen. It is there's a lot of opinions, but I don't know what the facts are really. And the quality, sure, it is generally declining when it comes to advertisement. And then there's the AI, of course, the obvious big problem, because it can replicate text, music, illustrations, graphics very easily, and it will only get better and better at these things, making the value of the things far less than they are today. That's how markets work. It is the rarity of things that sets the price, and when anybody can sit at their home, create a slogan with the help of an AI, well, basically anyone, sure, you need still quite some knowledge with the prompts and so on, but even there things are getting more and more easier. So that leaves a very declining market in general for creative works. I see no future in it, actually. No, I can't really see any future in it, other than it becoming very generic and bland, as it was already doing before AI. So, I mean, I get emails and so on LinkedIn. People want to sell me things that are in the marketing business. I mean, they don't even bother reading my own profile, seeing that I am selling the same things, and they expect me to answer them. I mean, that's just sad, really. And then there are people who are asking me for a job. I'm one man. I can't afford to support myself. I mean, there's no chance in hell I could employ someone. But that's where we are today. People are desperate, and it's just increasing. We also seem to have this recession going on in general in the world, in the Western world, economy declining. Add all these things together, and there is no foreseeable future where things change for the better. And I actually don't see it ever changing for the better for creative works. I think creative works will shift into a more, artistic way, a more hobby way, a more, well, if you can create something and people want to buy it, yeah, sure, then you will survive. Physical things, people who are painters will still probably sell paintings, because people like to put on paintings on the wall, tactile, physical things, a real painting. Those things will probably survive, but the the people working with digital arts and so on, and people in my business just write content for the web, we will only survive by, creating personal things. I think things that matter in the big flood of generic content. And when I mean personal, I mean actually personal things. I don't mean, oh, let's create an engaging text for this company. No, the company itself must express their engaging thoughts if they want this to be engaging, real, if they want genuinity in it. Can't be done by a third party. It can help, of course, you can push in the right direction, but if you look at content on YouTube and so on, the thing that works is more and more genuine things where people from their heart express things and talk about them. Because in the end, the AIs of the world can't really replicate that in a way that people accept. The uncanny valley of AIs will probably make it impossible. If you see and hear a voice, a face, well, there's no face for me here, but you know what my point is. People will listen. I think that is a basic human thing, to listen to another human. And those things will remain. Will it be possible to make money of this? I don't know. Maybe there is. There are content creators out there that create very low budget things that survive. Then there are, of course, the Mr. Beasts and so on that create very expensive things that they still dominate. But it seems to be saturated, that market as well. Well, just a little rant, personal one. Have a nice one.